Hello everyone, this is Yana Smakula. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm sharing two card ideas with the Spellbinders Kaleidoscope Arch collection products. This is a small collection, there are only 4 products. I'll show all of them, but I'm actually using just one product for my cards. It is the die set called Stitched Kaleidoscope Arch. So we have the Stitched Kaleidoscope Arch die set. You'll see this one up close in this video. That's the one that I'm using today to make the cards. We also have the Kaleidoscope Flowers press plate. So this is a BetterPress plate, and it is designed to go on the front of an A2 card. So the BetterPress plate is just slightly smaller than an A2 card front. There's also the Kaleidoscope Arch Sentiments Clear Stamp Set, and this one is designed, it is meant to go with the Stitched Kaleidoscope Arch die set. So these, the thanks so much and the happy birthday sentiments, they fit inside the Arch die, and you'll see that. I'll show that up close. And then the last product in this collection is the Kaleidoscope Window Stencil. So you can use this stencil to create beautiful backgrounds for your cards. I don't have the stencil, so I'm not using it today. I will only show you the Stitched Kaleidoscope Arch die set in action. So the main piece in this die set is this decorative half circle. You can use this die with or without the insert. So the insert is separate. I've used it with the insert, and the insert is what actually adds the stitching holes to your die cuts. So you can stitch it or not stitch it if you don't like stitching. There are 2 other pieces that look like semi-arch pieces, and these die cut layers that go behind the main die cut to create that layered kaleidoscope look. I did die cut them to show you how they look, but I'm not adding them to my cards and I'm not using them. You'll need to cut 2 of each for the semicircle die cut. They go behind the semicircle die cut like this. Hopefully you can see this a little bit better up close. So this only covers half of the circle, and you'll need to die cut another set of those to cover the other half of the circle. I think they add a cute little kaleidoscope element to the die cuts, but I kind of felt like they were a little bit too small and a little bit too finicky, and I quite liked my die cut the way it is without the kaleidoscope component. Now, if you die cut 2 of these semicircles, you can layer them together like so they become an oval, and you have a flat space in the center to add a sentiment. Now, if you use the main die alone without the insert, you can combine it with the stamp set that is a part of this collection. It is called Kaleidoscope Arch Sentiment Set, and you can see that it has several sentiment options that fit inside that semicircle. You can either do happy birthday or thanks so much. There is a banner die and a sentiment die included in this set, and the sentiment reads, "From me to you." This is meant to go over that blank space on the semicircle. You can also use the banner without the skinny strip sentiments from that stamp set and add a stamped or a heat embossed sentiment to your card. There are several options for you. Now, there's even a floral image that can go in the semicircle instead of the sentiment. So these 2 products are very versatile. They give you multiple options. You have different ways how these can be arranged and assembled. Now, I am in love with the BetterPress system and the BetterPress sentiments. There, I said it out loud in case you didn't know this before. So I decided that I was going to use the BetterPress sentiments here, but of course, I'm not going to press them, not going to letterpress them. I'm going to foil them because I can and because they foil so well. The level of detail on these is much greater compared to Glimmer sentiments. Now, I have already foiled a bunch of sentiments. I'm out of my beloved gold foils, so I was forced to go out of my comfort zone and try and use some other foil colors. I do have every single foil color that Spellbinders offers, but I'm really a fan of the gold, so I tend to use gold and all of the variations of gold all the time. But like I said, I'm all out, so I was kind of forced to use other colors. And I think that this is the satin rose gold color. It is actually a very beautiful color and it worked beautifully on this cardstock. This is Dune cardstock from Spellbinders. Now these sentiments are smaller and you can see that the banner included in this die set will cut a bigger banner. But I still think I should be able to use these just fine. Okay, there are also cute little flower dies included in this set, and who doesn't love flowers? These are similar to the other flowers from Spellbinders, but they're also different. I've already cut some from colored cardstock. My color combination for this card is very bold and very vibrant. I love to go down that route. I like to use bold colors, so I have the hot pink happening here. This is the Spellbinders Wild Berry color. Also, I have blue. This is the Spellbinders Indigo, and very dark purple. That's the Spellbinders Plum. I don't have any green color here. I replaced the green with brown, and I have the Spellbinders Dune. That's that lighter brown, almost looks like craft, and then another darker brown from my stash. I don't really remember what brand it is. Now, I also paired this with a rose gold cardstock. Again, staying away from gold since I'm not using any gold foil here. And I honestly quite like this look. You know, this color combination is very new to me. It's kind of fresh and I don't know, it looks fun. The rose gold goes well nicely with the brown. Okay, this die gives you an option to stitch it. So I'm of course going to stitch mine just because I find the activity pleasant and relaxing. I really enjoy stitching on cards. It de-stresses me. And my secret to avoid getting stressed when I am stitching, because sometimes it can get a little bit stressful, so I use the same color thread as my cardstock. So I do tone on tone stitching. Here I'm using the DMC thread number 601, and it coordinates with the Wild Berry cardstock from Spellbinders. By the way, you can find the DMC thread bundles on the Spellbinders website, and there are several bundles that are all put together to match the color of the Spellbinders cardstock. It is quite brilliant, actually, and it makes picking out a color, a coordinating color, a much easier task. Now, I've also used the Spellbinders bobbin die set and stamp to create custom colored bobbins for my thread. So if I'm using thread that coordinates in color to the Spellbinders cardstock, I make the bobbin out of that same color cardstock. It just looks so pretty this way. If you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. I share card making video tutorials as often as I can. Sometimes that's several times a week. Other times it's just once or twice a month. You can also subscribe to my blog newsletter for even more card making goodness from me, and I have a subscription link in my video description below. I separated my thread to 3 strands and stitched both of my die cuts. I used yellow tape to tape my thread down onto the die cut from the back side. You can also tie it into a knot if you want, or maybe even use a little bit of glue. I kind of like, if I have room, and I do have some room here, to use yellow tape. Next, I created a background using a 3D embossing folder. This is a gorgeous folder from Spellbinders. It's from the Autumn Serenade collection. It's called the Autumn Serenade 3D embossing folder. It does have some autumn foliage, so you have a couple of autumn leaves here. But I felt like it just made a really nice background. You know, it doesn't matter that the leaves are autumn leaves. The design of the folder itself, the beautiful embossing, it just looks so pretty. I kind of feel like it would work, you know, all year round, especially if you keep it one color. If you don't plan to color the leaves, they create a beautiful background all year round for your cards. I did create a background here from black cardstock because I first wanted to do a black background. This is the brushed black, but as you'll see, I later changed the background on both of my cards to white, and I used the brushed white cardstock. So I used foam adhesive squares. These are the small foam adhesive squares to adhere to foam mount my die cut onto the card. Now, if you remember, this is not the only kaleidoscope or the stitched kaleidoscope die from Spellbinders. Earlier this year, there was a stitched kaleidoscope hexi gem collection, and there was a similar die set, a similar die cut that looked like a hexi gem. It's very beautiful. I did not get a chance to use it, but it has a similar concept. It creates a similar stitched focal point or element for your card. It's another very beautiful die that can be stitched. So with my die kit adhered, I then added my sentiment in the center. For this card, I used one that says handmade for you. And then I embellished my card with the little die cut flowers that I had already created. Now I added a couple of gems onto the flower centers. I really like to add gems to the flower centers because I kind of feel like that helps the flowers shine a little bit better, and I just love the result. So I tucked a couple of flowers here and there following the curve of my stitched element. Here's a look at both of my cards. You can see that I have switched to the white background, and for the second card, I used one of my favorite die sets from Spellbinders. This is the Be Bold Blooms etched dies. And I just love how well these flowers go together with this die. Isn't that pretty? I mean, I kind of like how this die sort of creates like a, I don't know, a placeholder, not quite a container, but it creates like a placeholder for the flowers. And you can use any kind of flowers that you have in your stash to recreate this look. I love that I have one large flower and then an assortment of the smaller flowers and some branches in here as well. So that's a look at the cards I have for you today, created with the Spellbinders Kaleidoscope Arch collection. I hope you feel inspired to create. Thanks so much for spending time with me today. Love you guys, and I'll see you next time.